Hey everybody, I'm Kelsey and this is Cassidy and Katie. And thanks so much for coming to our YouTube channel where we talk about the course Write Your Way to Freedom. A lot of people have a lot of questions and we have three different unique answers from three people who have actually taken the course. So we hope that you find this information helpful. Feel free to browse all of our questions in the notes below. And if you have any other questions, feel free to leave them and we'll try and get to them in one of our next recordings. Today, we're going to be talking about the question we got was, I have kids. Is it unrealistic for me to build a copywriting business? And we want to start this one off by saying Cassidy has two adorable cats, hence this one right here. And I have two adorable dogs, but neither of us have children. And so Katie is really going to carry us on this video because she has two tiny humans that are lovely and amazing. So take it away, Katie.
Thank you. So first, short answer, it is not unreasonable for you to do this or unrealistic. It is absolutely doable. I'm going to throw this out, but I would be willing to bet at least half the people in the course have kids. Does that feel right to you guys? Anyway, a huge number of them do. So having kids absolutely forces you to work smarter. It forces you to get really organized and it forces you to be really methodical and disciplined with the way you build a business, because the math is just that you do not have the same bandwidth. You do not have the same hours available to you. You do not have the same capacity, at least in my experience. When I started, my son Ivan was 5 and he had just started kindergarten, and my daughter Isla was almost 3. So she was about to start preschool. We started her in January because she has an October birthday. So I started Write Your Way to Freedom and building my business when my son was in kindergarten full time and Isla was at home with me. But we had a family membership at the Y and it came with up to 10 hours of childcare a week. So I drove through Starbucks and took her to the Y and dropped her off in childcare, and then sat in an armchair in the lobby with all the old people and put in my headphones and worked for 2 hours, 4 days a week, I would say. I tried to say Fridays for like fun Isla outings. And then she would take a nap in the afternoon. Although, as every parent knows, that's not really super dependable because naps are not always the most predictable. So I tried to save that for like other tasks. Sometimes I just watch Netflix, you guys, if we're being honest. But if I had the bandwidth, I tried to do a little bit more in the afternoons. So I purchased the course in October, launched my website in January. That felt like a really good pace for me. There were other evenings where I was really excited, like when I was building my website or doing some of these more creative things that felt really energizing. But I took my time with the course. Again, being a stay-at-home mom, I wasn't like leaving behind another salary to do this. Yeah, I think the short answer is it is not unrealistic. It is absolutely possible. And I think for me, it's been incredibly rewarding to get to be a business owner as a mom. It requires a lot of you. I do work on weekends sometimes when kids, I've had a ton of snow days this winter, things like that just throw off your schedule. Thankfully, I have a really involved and supportive partner who can tag team me on the weekends, who will just like take kids on adventures, take them sledding so I can go to a coffee house and work for 4 hours and make up some of that time. I also try to leave some bandwidth in my schedule, just knowing that I'm never going to have a full, like uninterrupted 8-hour day. That's just not really very realistic. And even if I do, I mean, anyone who's a parent knows just like the amount of mental scatter that you have. So I think just like understanding that and building that into what your business looks like is the key to keeping things sustainable. But it's great to own a business. It gives you a ton of flexibility. It gives you total authority, autonomy over your schedule, over the clients you partner with, over the type of work that you do. So for me, I cannot imagine trying to parent and work for someone else in a 9-to-5 capacity. I can't imagine being told where to be and when, and having to ask for time off and all of those things. So I think, like anything, there are trade-offs, but for me, they've been totally worth it.
Katie, one thing I really love is that last summer you were taking your kids on all of these like really wonderful vacations because they were on summer break. And I just kept thinking like that's something you would not have been able to do had you been working for someone else and had to like, keep track of your vacation days and all that other stuff. Is this something you do every summer? You want to talk about it?
Yeah, I mean, I would say between visiting family and just we've taken more road trips since the pandemic. My parents used to have a place in Phoenix. And so we would fly out there over spring break. But once COVID hit, we didn't really want to fly. And so we started road tripping, and it enabled us. My husband was able to work remote as well. And so instead of 1 week of flying and using his vacation days and doing a more normal, like typical week-long vacation here and there, we turned it into 3.5 weeks and went to California and Arizona and to Moab and just like experienced all these national parks with our kiddos. And fell in love with it and the flexibility that that gave. So yeah, last summer I was in LA with all of you guys with Sarah for the Write Your Way to Freedom event. I came out 2 days early just to have quiet, literally 48 hours by myself in a hotel, reading books on the beach and drinking coffee. I was not mad about it. It was amazing. And then had the event with you guys and went home for a few days. And then we did the same thing again. We had a family reunion in Utah for a week, which I took off with no client work because we were in a house with 27 people, and that's not very conducive to writing. But the week after that, we decided, since we traveled all that way, we were going to do another week at Lake Tahoe, just the 4 of us. And so we got an Airbnb. We found a summer camp to put our kids in, just the same way we would have done at home. And my husband and I worked about 4.5, 5 hours during the day, got all of our work done, and then would hike or go swimming or do something in the afternoon before we picked kiddos up from camp. And so, yeah, it allows so much flexibility and autonomy to really make the most of the time that your kids have when they're off school. And then, yeah, we had a fall break and we went to visit my parents in Nashville. I worked just a couple hours every morning to like keep on top of client work. And so you can take your business with you. You can shape it to fit what you need it to be in any particular season of life, which is really, really great.
Katie, do you want to share your Instagram in case anybody is interested in seeing like some of those trips or like the things that you're up to as like our token mother in the group, if you're really resonating with them so they can connect with you one-on-one?
Yeah, absolutely. Give me a follow. It's at Katie Boyce Writes, last name Boyce. So Katie Boyce Writes. And yeah, I post a lot on Instagram of like travel stuff. You'll get to see these two faces because we hang a lot in person. Yeah, follow along. Send me a DM if you have any questions about it.
I think the only other thing that I wanted to touch on too, as soon as you started talking about this, I started thinking about it. My husband and I are in like the family planning stage of our life. And maternity leave is something that like we're thinking about too. And I can go into it later if we do end up having kids or whatever that looks like, so I can share like how we navigated that. But one thing that I've seen is all of my friends who are at the point where they're having kids and then having to go back to this 9 to 5, like getting like 12 weeks off and then being 100% back. And in case you haven't seen it yet, Sarah Turner, the person who started this Write Your Way to Freedom, just had a baby. And I was talking to her about how she was going to navigate her maternity leave and things like that. And she was like, I'm so grateful that I can come back for like an hour or two, or I can just pick up a project or like do a little thing here and there if I want to. The downside is there's no like maternity leave fund that you'll be paid unless you are in Canada, in which case just wait a year and then Canada will pay you your freelance fees. You just have to prove that you've been making X amount of money for a year. And that's amazing. Hopefully the States gets there one day. But if you are in the States, you won't be getting paid anything potentially unless you stack some things one way or another. That or have some junior writers to support you or something like that. But that said, you don't have to go from 0 to 100. Like no one's going to make you come back. Like when you come back and how you come back is on your terms. And if you decide like you might be, I don't know, a workhorse like me doing like 80 hours a week and just loving it. And then decide that like, no, I want to become Katie Boyce and take my kids on amazing road trips. And that's no longer who I am anymore. You don't have to go find a new job. You just adjust your business, which is a freedom that just doesn't exist in like a position that's like, here are your KPIs and key deliverables for the year. Like you just have so much more freedom to really like adjust your business to your life, which I think is invaluable for parents. I can only assume.
Yeah, one thing that really drew me to Write Your Way to Freedom was just Sarah's whole approach to building a copywriting business that works for your life, opposed to building a business that just makes you oodles and oodles of money and you're working all the time. Because I mean, right, like that is the goal that society has projected on us. Make as much money as you can, climb the career ladder. And so that like expectation can be baked into you. Like if I start this career, then I have to work 40 hours a week and make sure that I'm doing everything that I can to increase my income as much as I can. But Sarah really frames Write Your Way to Freedom as this course that can get you that extra $2,000 you want a month to go on vacations, or like, 10 hours of work a week while your kids are at school or something. I don't know. Like she just frames it more as build out this vision of what you want your life to look like and then find clients and enough work to support that version of your life that you want to live.
Another dream that I see a lot of parents have too, especially the moms in the group, are like, I want to retire my husband so he can be a stay-at-home dad and replace his income because I want to work. And that's not like being a full-time caretaker is not a good fit for me, but I know my husband would love it. And it's really cool to see people accomplish that goal in Write Your Way to Freedom too.
I agree. I love seeing that. That's so, so fun.
The only other thing that I do want to throw out here too is that if you all listening to this are like, I would love to see an example of like someone who is trying to retire their husband or be the breadwinner of their house, or if you want to see like someone with older kids or younger kids, or who is, I think caretaking for their parents falls in this realm too, because it's different, but still kind of the same. We're happy to find somebody in the group. Just let us know in the comments, because we want to make you feel like whoever you resonate with and whoever your identity is exists within Write Your Way to Freedom, because you belong there with us, even if we aren't necessarily the people that represent you. Thanks so much for tuning into our video today. I'm Kelsey, and this is Katie and Cassidy, and together we talk about what it's like to be in the program Write Your Way to Freedom to help you determine if it's the right fit for you or not. If anything from the videos today resonated with you or made you decide like, yes, this is it, I want to sign up, it would mean the world to us if you used our referral code. For full transparency, we do get a little bit of a monetary kickback every time somebody signs up that we split between the three of us. And we also make a $100 donation to World Central Kitchen, which you can find out more information on via the link in our notes. So thanks so much for tuning in, and check out the rest of our questions. We've probably answered the one that you have. Bye.